Good evening from Toronto. How are you doing today? I'm just, as I'm driving, thinking about making a video about what it's like being a black conservative in Canada. Well, let me first start off by saying there is not really any conservatism in Canada, you know. It's one of the weirdest phenomena. It's a very liberal country, and most of who is now posing to be conservative is really and truly just a temporary conservative because of the whole woke Canada has gotten. And this especially goes for the white male demographic, who most of them are really and truly liberals by heart, but has really and truly taken a step far more right because of their buddy Justin Trudeau, their brothers in arms, you know. Justin Trudeau, most of the white guys hate Justin Trudeau. It's a weird culture, and I just observe them. But being a black conservative, because black people mostly vote liberal because of Justin Trudeau's father. He created a legacy for the Liberal Party, so that they'll have the black community support, you know, blindly, just like in the States with regards to the Democratic Party. And for some strange reason, most black people are convinced that one side is more racist than the other, and I don't know why is that. The most racist people I've ever come across are actually hypocritical white liberals, because when you don't fit into their narrative, that's when they treat you like an outcast and that you're inferior to them, which I don't even pay them any mind, you know. Life was much happier, life was way better when Stephen Harper was running this country. As a matter of fact, I can remember the phenomenon of the Canadian dollar overtaking the US dollar in value during the Harper presidency. And one of the things I disagreed with him about, which is the legalization of marijuana, I ended up agreeing with him around about now, seeing the catastrophe of the legalization of marijuana in Toronto, and how it has created a complacent class of people who just want to smoke and just get high every day. And that is one of the things, if I see him, I gotta say, you know what, former Prime Minister, I am sorry for really doubting your wisdom in that sense. Now, back to being a conservative in Canada, black conservative in Canada, you can practically forget about black friends. Being of my demographic, and I don't really socialize with a lot of white people, so, like, you know, it's just back to Lonerville. You know, you better occupy your time by trolling the internet. But the thing is, though, I am happier though, knowing that I don't have to be an hypocrite. Because the thing about it, what these hypocritical people do is that they target the universities, and so they tend to attract a lot of articulate black people towards their movement, because they are overrepresented. Their movement is overrepresentative in the universities. For example, in Toronto, you have 3 major universities are called / College: George Brown, UFT, and Ryerson. All left-wing cesspools. You know, but the thing about it is that what happened is that what I mean is that they when they indoctrinate these other people, they become it becomes like a selective pressure. Women have to young black women going to universities are so now denounce having children, starting families. They learn how to fight the gender wars. They get all the narratives for the gender wars. And in so they go home and they start become like nagging towards their spouse, and there seems to be some disenfranchise between the traditionalists and the what we call the new age woke people, especially black women, being that more of them go to universities than black men. The thing about it is that what happens now is that being a black conservative, you now believe in the individual instead of the collective. So I can survive as a black conservative because I don't expect anything but from anyone, and in this regard I am motivated by an ideology of self-reliance, right? This is not this is not unique to conservatism, because the first time I grasped self-reliance was from the Pan-Africanist Marcus Garvey. But what happens now is that there's nothing the conservatives can promise me to really and truly get my vote, because I don't rely on the political class like that. However, it is not the same for black liberals with regards to the Liberal Party or the NDP Party of Canada, because all they do is promise stuff they cannot deliver, and then people just go off the empty promises. And because the conservatives don't use those same talking points, it's like a standoff between especially the black community or the majority of the immigrant community and the Conservative Party, because the Conservative Party cannot really promise anything, because conservatism is all about the individual empowering himself and then giving back to his community. You see what I'm saying? So it's quite a bit of an interesting scenario in Canada. The top 10 two phenomena I've noticed, especially in Canada as a black conservative, is the abundance of miserable white liberal males. They're just miserable. It's just men who you'd punch the fuck out in a second, because they're just overzealous about anything they watch on the news. That's propaganda that you think is propaganda, but they think is just something they should follow, because I don't know if they are getting pegged by their spouse or something, or they're looking for a woman to peg them, but they're just very, 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 very miserable. There's an abundance of miserable white males in Canada, miserable white liberal males. But the thing is this now. What happened to black conservatism is that the Conservative Party is not really appealing to us. We don't get represented in the Conservative Party. I remember one year, there was this guy called, what's his name? Was it Adam Shear? I don't know what type of Shear, but I could not believe that the guy didn't tap into the conservative base of Canada, because there was a bit of harsh rhetoric coming from among us, whether black or white, and the guy just totally ignored Andrew Shear. The guy just totally ignored us, including Jordan Peterson. And then he just ran a campaign, a miserable campaign, a lifeless campaign, and it ended up becoming a fruitless campaign. Now Pierre Poilievre, this new conservative guy, you see the problem. The issue with him is that he's a bit better than Andrew Scheer, but at the same time, he's just not really and truly vocal or appealing enough to the especially the black conservative base. So the black conservative movement in Canada needs leadership, and it needs brave leadership. It needs men that will tell the truth, that will really and truly commit ourselves to bettering our people within this culture. And you know what, man? It's what we do. It's what we do. We fight.